Valley Talk on News Talk 1580 KGAL.
And it's Monday, beautiful day. The weatherman says we can expect really nice weather all the way through this weekend and going to be enjoying it as well. I'm Dave Adams. Welcome to Valley Talk. We've got a full show for you today. Two guests booked. We have Jeremy Ito, who is the Area Director for Young Life, reaching out to share their faith with young people here in the Mid-Willamette Valley. So, Jeremy, thanks for being with us on Valley Talk today.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you letting me share what we're doing with kids in this city.
Carol Dinges with Lebanon Library is going to be in at 11:30 this morning. We're going to talk about a lot of things with Carol. Genealogy, early literacy, and something that she's kind of teased us about, stealth programming for young adults. And I guess you have to stick around for about 20 minutes to figure out what stealth programming for young adults is. Anyway, that's happening at the Lebanon Library. Looking forward to hearing that. If you want to win a $10 gift certificate from Quiznos, then send me an email right now, dave@kgal.com. Put Quiznos Taste on Us on the subject line. At the end of the show, we're going to be drawing a name out of the hat, and the person who wins will get a $10 gift certificate, and that's good for any of your choice of sandwiches or chips or drink at Quiznos in Albany. That's next to the old G.I. Joe's location, and just right down the studios from the KGAL Albany studios here in Albany. And you can also call the station and have your name put into the drawing, or just send me an email, dave@kgal.com. If your community or nonprofit organization has something going on and you would like to get a mention on Valley Talk, just send me an email, same address, dave@kgal.com. Salvation Army is having its first annual Kettle Kickoff Dinner, and this is coming up October 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Eagles. And it's kick off the Red Kettle Christmas campaign. They'd like to get more volunteers out manning the kettles, so they don't have to use so many employees, and donations as well. Thanks to Maureen Lawless, the lieutenant for the Salvation Army in Albany. And if you have something going on in your nonprofit organization, then let me know. Send me an email, dave@kgal.com. One of the organizations I'm involved with, the Jesus Network, TJN, we're having a balloon flight. We're selling hot air balloon rides this Saturday at 8 a.m. at Cheadle Lake Park. You can pre-buy tickets you can go to our website, tjn1.tv, or just show up at Cheadle Lake Park. We're going to be doing that this Saturday, October 6th, from 8 to 9:30 a.m. $10 per person. They're tethered rides, so you'll be able to go up about 30, 40 feet, take some pictures. If you've never been in a hot air balloon before, a lot of fun. So check it out. Jeremy Ito is with us in the studio right now, Area Director for Young Life. Jeremy, what is Young Life?
Yeah, Young Life is an international, non-denominational outreach for middle school, high school, and college students. And so it has been around since 1941. It was founded by a man named Jim Rayburn, who saw a need of high school students that really were missing from a lot of from his church and from a lot of the churches in his area. And he was asking the question, how do we connect with young people? How do we help engage them where they are, meet them where they're at, and introduce them to the Christian faith? And
so this has been going on since 1941.
It has, yeah. And since that time, it's expanded internationally. It's in about 66 different countries. And in fact, we were just at a leader committee weekend where our speaker was one of the international senior vice presidents, and had just some amazing stories of what's happening around the world.
Everybody is facing some challenges today. What specifically are young people dealing with right now? You talk to them a lot.
Yeah, I think there are lots of issues that we hear about when we think about teenagers. I think a lot of those issues stem from just the fact that many of them don't have caring adults in their lives. There are so many teenagers who come from families where there's just a lot of brokenness and a lot of hurt that has taken place in the family, but also to them as individuals. And so they're trying to cope with a lot of that in their lives. And a lot of teenagers, if you were to ask them how many caring adults do you know in your life, most of them could probably count that number on one hand, and would even struggle to kind of think through who are the adults in my life that actually care about me. So I think through that, we see a lot of teens dealing with depression, suicidal thoughts. Obviously, you hear a lot about teens addicted to drugs, alcohol, prescription drugs, the party scene. And then there's just a lot of confusion about how do I have a normal, healthy relationship with friends, with the opposite sex. And so there's just a lot of kids looking for happiness, looking for hope, and trying to find it on their own.
So let's say you have some young people that are coming to you, let's say a young man.
Yeah.
And he says, well, Dad's never around, he's just kind of checked out, and I'm just down on my own. So when you ask him the question, how many adults care in your life, and they're having a hard time naming them, how do you interface? What do you do?
Yeah, well, it's definitely an issue in our world, in our culture. I think the last a recent study that I came across showed that about 33% of children today live or know their biological father and interface with them on a regular basis. And so there are a lot of kids that don't know what it's like to have a dad that loves them and cares about them. And I think, I don't know that we can fix that for kids, but what we do offer is a friendship with teenagers, and we provide caring adults who have had amazing experiences in their own life where they've been loved and cared for, or someone has stepped in to their life and cared enough about them to spend time with them and to ask them how their life is going, and really has stepped into that gap of just being able to show them how to live life, just basic life skills sometimes.
It's like you have a banquet fundraiser coming up. So if you're hearing what Jeremy says and you want to help Young Life, help young people in the Mid-Willamette Valley, one of the ways that you can do that right now is getting involved in their annual banquet fundraiser, which is a major event for you guys to bring in money so you can do what you do. Tell me about the fundraiser, or the banquet.
Yeah, it's one of the highlights of the year for us, where we get to share not only what the ministry has done for kids, but what it is continuing to do as we look ahead. And we get to share some of the things that we feel like are going to continue to impact the lives of teenagers. We also get to share some of the stories from teens themselves, so they get to share how Young Life, how God has impacted their life story. And I think that's probably everyone's favorite part of the night as they walk away, that we get to hear testimonials from students whose lives have been changed forever. And
when is the banquet?
The banquet is actually on Saturday, October 20th, and it'll be in the evening. It'll start promptly at 6:30. Doors will open at 6. And it's a free 2-hour fundraising event, and so anyone is welcome to attend that wants to find out more, whether they want to give or not.
Is there going to be food there, and where is it at?
Yes, there will be a catered meal provided, and so we do need people to RSVP. It's at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center, and people can actually register online at www.banquetfundraiser.com. Or they can go to our website at albanyyounglife.com.
So does it cost to attend? Is there an admission?
No, it's free. We want people to be able to come without feeling any pressure to give. It is our fundraiser, so we would love for people to come with generous hearts. But if they just want to come check out what Young Life is, it's a great opportunity for them to do that.
How many kids do you help or interface with?
I would say on average we are impacting about 300 to 400 kids' lives each year. year, and it almost always depends on how many quality volunteer leaders do we have. And so this year we've got a great crew of leaders. We have a bunch of new leaders that we're excited to bring on board and train. And so I would anticipate that we'll probably see, on average, about 100 kids coming to club by the winter time for our high school, and then probably about 40 to 50 middle school kids coming every other week.
Could you help more kids if you had more volunteer help and or more money?
Definitely. I think that's always the one thing that keeps us from doing more. And a lot of what we do is scholarshiping kids to go to camp. And so when we're able to meet our operating costs, then a lot of the surplus of that is able to hugely benefit the number of kids that we can invite to camp. And so we appreciate the local support of people who give to this organization. And we have been very blessed by some significant gifts from people.
When is camp?
We usually do a summer camp, a week-long summer camp for both high school and middle school students, and so we're kind of spread out throughout the summer. But our information on when our camp dates are on our website at albanyyounglife.com.
So you have more than one camp per year?
We do, yeah. So we usually go out in the summer to Washington Family Ranches, both Canyon for high school kids and Creekside for middle school kids. And so it's Eastern Oregon. It used to be the old Rajneesh Purim compound.
Rajneesh Purim.
Yes. So just an exciting history of how God has taken that and really used it for a great thing. So
I haven't been out there. I toured it as a news reporter when it was Rajneesh Purim, and I was out there and interviewed some of the spokespersons for the Rajneesh when I was covering news for a station in the Dalles, Oregon. I haven't been out there yet since Young Life is taking it over. I'd like to come out there and take a look at it.
Yeah, anybody that wants to come out, you're certainly welcome, Dave. There is actually an adult guest program that runs throughout the summer, and so people that want to come and look and see what's going on are always welcome to check that out.
Now, you have a building in Albany, don't you?
We do, yeah.
Do you have weekly meetings?
We do. We have our weekly high school club that happens on Monday nights at 7:14 p.m. And then
7:14?
Yes. 7:13 was too early and 7:15 was too late. So it's just kind of a random thing to help kids remember when it's happening.
Okay.
And then our middle school group actually meets. It'll begin meeting in October. Typically, they meet on the first and third Saturdays of the month, and they meet in the South Albany gym.
What happens at these meetings?
Yeah, so a lot of it is providing a safe environment for kids, regardless of where they're at in their faith journey, whether they don't believe in God at all or whether they have been a Christian for years. We want it to be a place where they feel like they can come and experience caring adults, deep friendships, and fun. And so there's just a lot of activities that we do that are very teenager-oriented, a lot of fun games, a lot of skits that use humor to kind of break down walls. We sing songs, and then at the end of the night, there is about a 10 to 15-minute talk that one of the Young Life leaders who has been walking alongside of them gives and shares the message of Jesus and hope and how God is relevant to their lives.
Okay, we're talking to Jeremy Ito, Area Director for Young Life here in Albany. We'll continue and talk with Jeremy for about another 10 minutes in the show, and then we're going to be switching gears here and talking with Carol about what's going on at the Lebanon Library. So stay with us. This is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Don't forget to sign up for your chance to win a $10 gift certificate from Quiznos in Albany. Just write an email to me, put in the subject line, Taste on Us, and if we pull your name out of the hat at the end of the show, you'll get a $10 gift certificate and use it for whatever sandwiches you want to buy. Take a friend in there, get a couple sandwiches, drinks, chips, whatever $10 can get you. And thanks to Dale and the crew at Quiznos in Albany for being a part of Valley Talk here on KGAL, and we'll be back in just a moment.
All That Glitters Jewelry and Loans in Salem reminds listeners the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let's honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty, and let's take the time to salute all of those who serve today. This reminder is from All That Glitters Jewelry and Loans at 1191 Lancaster Drive, Northeast in Salem, and 4 locations in Portland, open 7 days a week. All That Glitters Jewelry and Loans, and they are on the air, proudly saluting all of our troops.
When you look out across Willamette Valley, you'll see plenty of banking choices. But we're here to give you an option that's pretty unique, like no other in fact. Hi, I'm Dave Wood, President and CEO of Willamette Community Bank. We provide an alternative to large national and regional banks by offering customized financial services and local decision-making to benefit local people, local families, and local businesses. How many banks can say that? Willamette Community Bank, service like no other, we promise. Member FDIC.
Coming October 13th, it's the second annual Samaritan Health Services Living Well Expo at Heritage Mall in Albany, presented by Bimart and a Turning Leaf Home Medical. There are over 80 booths promoting healthy, fun, and fulfilling lifestyles. Bring the family. It's free. Enjoy the exhibit, special sales, and Bimart micro-reality racing track, and continuous entertainment on the Monarch Medical Weight Loss main stage. See performances by local magicians, the Lebanon High School Dance Team, the Square Dance Alliance, Albany Civic Theater, Cascade Performing Arts, and more. Explore new hobbies and visit health screenings ranging from blood pressure tests to breast and cervical cancer detection. Learn about nutrition, including the Oregon Healthy Kids program. Ever wondered how much that rare book, those old Victorian pieces or other old items might be worth? Local advanced collectors will be on hand to give you an evaluation of your items starting at noon. Don't miss the second annual Samaritan Health Services Living Well Expo presented by Bimart and a Turning Leaf Home Medical, coming up October 13th at Heritage Mall in Albany.
Gooch and Renier Family Cosmetic Dentistry in Albany would like to remind their friends throughout the area. If your health permits, please donate blood. Your efforts will help save the lives of many throughout our community. Be a silent hero. Give the gift of life. Give blood today. This community message has been brought to you by Gooch and Renier Family Cosmetic Dentistry. Give them a call at 928-9299, 928-9299. They are accepting before and after work appointments. The number again, 928-9299.
This is Shelley Garrett, and Ryan Murphy and I are going to be headed to the courthouse steps in Albany this Saturday at 7:30 a.m. for the Seroptimus International Run for a Life, Walk for a Cause live remote broadcast. Please join us from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the air, or better than that, come join us in person as we walk the streets of Albany. The walk begins at 9:15, so come and join us before. This is Shelley Garrett and Ryan the Lion, and we'll be on live at 9:20 a.m. K-Show.
Laugh, cry, or get scared spitless with When Radio Was. Weeknights at 10 on 1580 KGAL.
I'm Dave Adams, Valley Talk. Glad to have you with us today. We are talking to Jeremy Ito, Area Director for Young Life. And Jeremy, glad to have you with us on Valley Talk today.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
During the break, we were talking about the fact that you're starting a college program. And let's revisit that statistic once again about how many kids kind of walk away from the faith when they go off to school.
Yeah, the Barna Group has put out some recent research that indicates that about 7 out of the 10 students who attended youth group regularly, 7 out of 10 of them are going to actually walk away from the church and try to do faith on their own, and that 1 out of those 10 youth group kids is going to walk away from faith completely. And so we really want to try to help kids integrate faith into their life as they go off into college. And really what we have seen as we study this is that many of those students that make that decision to sort of walk away from church do it in the first 2 weeks of their college experience.
Why do they do that?
I think a lot of it has to do with community. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're looking for a group of friends, a group of people to associate with and hang out with, and a lot of them just find that when you're on campus and you're away from mom and dad in the first 2 weeks, you're going to get invited to a lot of parties. And so a lot of them feel so guilty about going to a party that they just kind of lose that habit of being in a church setting, being around people that love them and care about them and are going to remind them of how much God loves them, how much He cares about them, and how much grace He has for them. And so I think there's a lot of students that do the walk of shame and unfortunately don't walk back into the church until much later in their lives, if then.
Peer pressure is huge, isn't it?
It definitely is. And especially when you're away from your group of friends that maybe were a good influence on you when you were in high school, when you have that habit of going to youth group each week or attending church with your parents. It can be really easy to lose those habits when you start over again in college and have a freedom to really do whatever you want.
Can you share with us a little bit about how Young Life wants to start a program to change that a little bit? What are your ideas?
Yeah, so we're going to start with seniors, and we've actually begun this. We did this a little bit last year, a group for seniors to begin to help them think ahead of what do I need to do really to pre-plan or to plan how I can hold on to my faith those first 2 weeks and even beyond that. And then we feel like the next step for us is beginning with a core group of college students and really building a leadership crew, a group of college students that really feels like they want to reach out to their friends, and then we want to surround them with adults that really see the need and feel called to that type of outreach.
Let's talk about surrounding them with adults. One of the things that we were talking about during the break, and we have mentioned in the past that there has been a problem, and there are some families now that are facing some serious financial challenges in their homes. So maybe mom and dad are not providing a great role model for the kids, and so they don't have an adult role model to look up to or to aspire to. They don't have a good example of how they should live their life and what they should grow into. Yeah. Maybe mom and dad are making good choices. Do you have an opportunity at Young Life to, I don't know if you have mentoring programs or older leaders sitting down and talking to kids and saying, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I think probably the most powerful thing that a Young Life leader does, or that the adults in our outreach do, is asking kids to go to coffee with them, or inviting them over to their house, or just spending an hour or two one-on-one with a kid and asking them about their life. So many of them, after a leader does that with them, have shared, nobody does this. Nobody asks me about my life. Nobody asks me what's going on. And so it is a huge blessing to those kids to have adults in their lives asking them about their friendships, asking them about the peer pressure that they're facing, asking them about what's going on at home, what do you need help with? And so that is just a very impactful thing. I would say it's more impactful than a year's worth of clubs to have a leader sit down with a kid for 1 hour and not just do it once, but do it consistently over and over and over again.
Who are you looking for in volunteers? You're looking for other teenagers? You're looking for adults? What age groups?
Yeah, I would say their age really is not a factor. In fact, there are high school juniors and seniors that are student leaders that reach out to their friends. There are college students, both at Lynn Benton and OSU, or who are in a career that help out. And then there are also parents and empty nesters that help out with the middle school program and provide a lot of support for leaders, leader care, and just provide an anchor in our ministry as the college students are transitional. A lot of times some of the empty nester aged leaders can be around for 5, 10, 15 years and provide a lot of stability for our ministry.
How many volunteers do you have now? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, we're somewhere in the ballpark about 20 adult leaders, and then probably another 10 student leaders or high school age leaders.
It's Christmas time. How many would you like if we could just say here they are?
Yeah, ideally the grand vision is to have a team of about 8 leaders at every single middle school, high school, and Lynn Benton Community College. And so I'm not very good at math, but we would love a whole lot more leaders that care about kids.
How many kids do you help now?
Right now, I would say on average, we see, we throughout the year we'll help about 300 to 400 kids.
What could that grow to if you had the volunteers?
Yeah, ideally, I think, knowing how many middle school, high school, college students are, our vision is to one day be able to reach all of them. And there are currently, if you just count the LBCC students under the age of 26, middle school, high school, and that college, there are about 12,000 middle school, high school, and college students. And so we want to think through what do we need to get there? What do we need to be able to bless and reach out to every single one of those students one day?
What would you say to maybe the older people listening to the program today to motivate them? Maybe they had a bad experience with their kids and say, well, I wasn't a real good parent, and so I'd like to help you out, but I don't know, I just can't relate to kids. What would you say to motivate them to engage?
Yeah, I would say help in whatever way you can. There may be limitations on what you can or what you think you can't do, but everybody can do something. And even if that means giving a donation or providing snacks or just coming and watching and checking it out and seeing if it's a good fit, I would say the best thing you can do is just get involved at some level. And even if it's not with Young Life, find an organization that helps kids, helps teenagers, because there are a lot of needs out there, and it's not that hard. It really isn't that difficult to help a student. If you know how to listen, that's really all teenagers need. If you can give generously, I would say that's a huge help to those that feel called to do this. And if you have time to give, or if you, it's amazing to me that what Young Life leaders do a lot of times is just do what they're already doing and invite kids into that. We have moms who take kids shopping with them. We have kids that come over to our house and just eat food with us. And so there are definitely lots of ways to bless students, but I would say just do something.
When is your banquet once again? Let's talk about time, date, place.
Yes, Saturday, October 20th. It is starting at 6:30, goes till 8:30. The doors will open at 6 for people to find their seats. People can register online at www.banquetfundraiser.com, or you can go on our website at albanyyounglife.com. And it's going to be out at the fairgrounds. It's a great event. We have fun every year, and it's such an amazing and inspirational night to hear from kids and how their lives have been changed.
Jeremy, thank you for all you do for kids, and if you're listening and if you're involved in the Young Life program, thank you for what you do, and if you're not involved, think about getting involved, or maybe opening up your wallet and helping these folks help kids that they're the next generation. We need to reach out to them, and we need to help them out. There's a lot of stressors in everyone's life right now, and kids are having some difficulty with some things. So let's all engage as a community and make a difference. Jeremy, tk you for all you do.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
And next, we are going to be talking to Carol Dinges with the Lebanon Library about genealogy, early literacy, and she told me something about stealth programming for young adults, kind of a young adult theme on Valley Talk today, so we're going to find out what stealth programming is all about. Interested in finding that out myself. This is Valley Talk, and we'll be right back.
The Osgood File, sponsored in part by LiftMaster Garage Door Openers. Use your smartphone to open or close your garage door anytime from anywhere. This is Charles Osgood. This has not been a very good year for American agriculture, what with a major drought over so much of the country. For apple growers in North Carolina, everything looked okay until mid-April.
And then a cold freeze swept in for just a 4-hour period. The frost came when the apples were at a delicate stage and the trees started blossoming too early.
Our CBS News colleague Manuel Bojorquez went to North Carolina now that it's harvest time. How that's turned out after this. Where will you be when you remember you left the garage door open? Halfway to the office? Halfway around the world? Well, if you got a LiftMaster garage door opener with MyQ technology, you got nothing to worry about. With LiftMaster, you can use your smartphone or computer to open or close your garage door from anywhere. You can turn your house lights on or off, too. And LiftMaster garage door openers with battery backup keep your garage door working even if the power isn't. Find a dealer near you at liftmaster.com.
Geico says, let's make life simpler.
What's the old saying? Build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. The trouble is, a lot of mousetraps aren't any better. They're just new. At Geico, we've been saving people money on car insurance since 1936. That's over 75 years of savings. It's simple logic, really. Why not go with the company that's invented the mousetrap? Of savings, that is.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
A lot of apple growing is still a family business in North Carolina, says Manuel Bojorquez.
Sonia Stepp Hollingsworth has been working on her family apple orchard in Hendersonville, North Carolina for almost 40 years.
How bad is this harvest?
We've lost 90%. Last year we probably had around 14,000 bushels in the orchard. We might have 1,400 bushels this year.
Just down the road from Sonia Hollingsworth's farm is Kenny Barnwell.
How many acres do you have?
I farm 140 to 50 acres of apples and 10 acres of peaches.
Barnwell showed him one of this year's apples.
This apple doesn't even have value as juice.
Nothing.
Nothing. That's what it is right there.
He also showed him the huge facility where he usually stores his apples. It holds 1,500 bins, about 3 million apples.
These are all empty. There's nothing in any of these boxes.
And usually they'd be full.
Usually they'd be full.
In more than 30 years of growing apples, says Kenny Barnwell,
this one, countywide, statewide, is going to be worse. It'll be the worst I've ever seen.
Sonia Stepp Hollingsworth told Manuel crop insurance will cover maybe 25% of her $200,000 loss this year, but she's not giving up.
You know, there's going to be freezes. You know, there's going to be drought. But because you love it, you keep going. And so we just keep going and doing it.
The Osgood File. Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
Lapdogs, yes men. Congress is full of people who blindly follow the party line and cave easily to special interests. You'd never confuse Peter DeFazio for one of those guys. Peter DeFazio has never been afraid to go against the flow or make some waves when he believes in something. That's why Peter stood up to leaders in both parties, leading the fight against the $700 billion Wall Street bailout. But this is nothing new. Peter has been fighting to crack down on Wall Street's reckless behavior for years. Peter supported the Wall Street Reform Act, but he's pushed for even stronger protections to safeguard the American people from ever bailing out Wall Street again. And to lower gas prices, Peter has fought big oil and gas speculators who care more about profits than people. Whether it's standing up to powerful Wall Street banks or greedy big oil executives, Peter DeFazio will take on anyone who threatens Oregon families.
I'm Peter DeFazio, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by DeFazio for Congress.
Willamette Living Magazine brings you the best of our special area in print and online. Locally owned and operated, Willamette Living is the lifestyle magazine of Oregon's Willamette Valley from Eugene to Portland. Every other month brings a new edition packed with engaging local stories, beautiful photography, and offerings from our neighbors in business. Visit WillametteLiving.com to read the current issue online. Find out about advertising your business or subscribe now and have every issue delivered to your home or office. Willamette Living Magazine, your guide to the best of the Willamette Valley.
You can call us Lefty or you can call us Righty. We just call it Smarty Talk on 1580 KGAL.
This is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Carol Dinges is Library Services Manager for the Lebanon Library. So thank you for being with us on Valley Talk today.
Well, thank you, Dave. It's great to be here.
During the break, we were talking about going from cradle to grave. So normally when you're thinking of literacy training, you're thinking about teaching the young kids how to read. But from what I'm hearing, everybody needs a little bit of help, right?
Everybody needs a little help. And as a matter of fact, October is Information Literacy Awareness Month. That began back in 2009 when President Obama declared that this would be Information Literacy Month. And our own Governor Kitzhaber has also proclaimed it Information Literacy Month for the state of Oregon, because this literacy isn't just for kids anymore. We live in a rapidly changing world, and the information world is probably changing as fast as anything else. I remember when it was difficult to find information, and I think many of us who are adults do remember that time. It's not the case anymore. We're bombarded with it. But the problem is How do you find the right information? How do you find information that comes from a quality source? And sometimes, how do you even know what you need to know? We're buried alive in information to the point that it's hard to sift through it. So this is something for the young and the old.
Talking about literacy, I'll use math as an example. In the school that I was at in Idaho, there were 100 kids in my math class.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was very, very easy. I'm not going to tell you the name of the school because I don't want to embarrass them. But it was very easy from a math standpoint to get lost in the shuffle, so to speak. Has that happened in reading and literacy skills as well, where, Johnny can't read and he just kind of was passed from 7th, 8th, 9th grade and kind of graduated, but doesn't really have a strong grasp on literacy? Does that happen a lot?
That does happen a lot. Interestingly enough, over in Lebanon, our then principal and now district office administrator, Bo Yates, actually did a study of the middle schoolers to see who was actually doing okay, meeting the state standards, and who wasn't. He found a very interesting fact that the students who moved a lot were in real trouble. The kids who actually stayed in the same school district and went through the same schools, through elementary, middle school, and then into high school, were actually in pretty good shape. But where kids really fell through the cracks was when they transferred from one school to another school. And unfortunately, that is the case for a lot of our kids. And now more than ever, with a lot of families in economic crisis, really, the job loss, trying to move from place to find work, find a place where they can live, that's happening to a lot of kids, and they are the most at risk for slipping through the cracks.
And if you can't read, the opportunity to get a job is very decreased.
Oh, greatly decreased. Greatly decreased. And your ability to use the resources that we have are also so greatly decreased because so many of them rely on your ability to read.
To find a job.
To find a job to begin with. Exactly.
Do you find that adults who do not read well are very embarrassed about coming forward and asking for help? They
Absolutely.
just don't want to, I don't know how to read.
Find ways to hide it and find ways to work around it. Because it's a terribly embarrassing thing to admit, yes. And that's a real problem.
How do you help them?
Unfortunately, they avoid the library like the plague because that's a place that's a reminder that they don't have the skills. When in fact, we actually have books on tape that would be very helpful because hearing as you read is a great way to improve your reading ability, particularly as you become an adult. Using something like books on CD, they're not books on tape anymore, and we have a really extensive library of these, both popular and nonfiction titles. To use those helps to then be able to visualize the words, which is a big part of becoming literate and becoming able to read the words on the page. Also, I strongly recommend that they take advantage of the programs offered through Lynn Benton Community College, which is, again, one of our great resources in all of our communities, because they have help available for those people as well.
One of the things we teased up the show about was stealth programming for young adults. Stealth programming.
I love it.
Are we hiding what are we doing here with stealth programming?
We're being sneaky.
Okay.
This is a program that our young adult librarian Jamie Oakson did some research on. She heard about it at a conference and then began doing some research to programs around the country. And it addresses the fact that teens live busy, complicated lives.
As we all.
As we all do. And for them to attend a regularly scheduled program in the library, as we have with our young children, That's very difficult. They have jobs, they have sports, they have activities, they have friends, and it's just hard to fit that in. Stealth programming actually allows them to be involved with the library and with literacy programs on their own terms. These, each month will feature a different theme, and sometimes it will be a contest or a game format kind of activity. It could be something as something like book cover bingo, which your bingo card actually has book titles on it, and you're going to have to figure out what book it is and whether or not you actually make a bingo that way. Sometimes it will be voting on their favorite authors, their favorite titles. Sometimes it will actually be more craft kinds of activities, creating their own covers for some of their favorite books and so forth, and then displaying them. But these will be done on their own time. They can come in at any time during the month. They can find out what's going on and get involved on their own time.
Are you finding a lot of competition with the video games and the texting and so on and so forth, and kids are kind of disengaging from literacy in the library?
Yes.
Okay.
But not necessarily as badly as we might think.
Okay.
I was a high school librarian at Lebanon High School, and with the district before I then moved to the Lebanon Public Library this summer. And I was always pleasantly surprised how many kids are readers and how many kids take advantage of coming to the library to find something great to read. We've got wonderful, wonderful young adult lit out there now, some great writing going on, and kids are taking advantage of it. You'd be surprised how many kids read.
Great. Let's talk about genealogy. Is there a lot of renewed interest in that?
I think so, but the interest really got started actually several decades ago when the book and then the mini-series Roots came out. Roots is at the root of our interest in genealogy. One of the great features at the Lebanon Public Library is that we have the genealogy collection. We have an actual genealogy room, and it's staffed by volunteers, primarily in the afternoons. And we have just started, as part of our programming for adults, our Monday after hours, which is 7 p.m. every Monday night. Last week, our program was getting started with genealogy. And our teacher was Cheryl Vore, who is with the genealogy projects through the LDS Church. And then she was also assisted with volunteers from the Lebanon Genealogy Society and those who volunteer in the genealogy room at the public library. Now, we're going to continue this on October 15th. 2 weeks from tonight, we'll have another program on genealogy, and this one for those who have maybe gotten started, maybe have a beginning, but want to learn how to use some of the online resources that are available. And we've got 2 different programs available through the public library. One of them is Ancestry.com, and another is Heritage Quest, I believe. Both of them are available to anyone who wants to come into the library. You don't have to have a library card. You can just come into the library and use them. And Heritage Quest, if you have a library card, is also available from home as well.
Is it hard to do genealogy? Let's say somebody's listening to the show and they've always wanted to know. Let's say it's been told to them ever since they were a little kid that they were related to Benjamin Franklin or George Washington, and they'd like to find out if, in fact, that's true. Is it hard to start looking and start genealogy?
I've started, and it's not hard to start. As a matter of fact, getting started, there are some very, very simple places to get started, not the least of which is start talking to your family about who their great uncles and great aunts and uncles and great grandparents are, and so forth. And then from there, that's where the online resources start to become handy. And learning to how to look back. There are online resources that have tombstones from all over the country, which apparently is one of the primary places to look to find out you know who one person that's a relative. From the tombstone, you can find out who the parents were frequently and take you another generation back, or who their children were. And also the dates of their birth and death, which gives you then access to more information from census.
Interesting.
Statistics.
Talking to Carol Dinges, Library Services Manager with the Lebanon Library, and we will continue with Valley Talk here in just a moment.
Going out to lunch at a nice restaurant can be expensive, and the big portions put you more in the mood for a nap than a productive afternoon. Mama's Fine Italian to the rescue. The small appetite senior menu is just right. Anyone and everyone is invited to order from the Light Appetites menu for lunch from 11 to 4 p.m. with tasty entrees beginning at only $3.95. Why go hungry or go anywhere else for lunch? Eat healthy, eat light at Mama's. Closed Sunday and Monday, so make the most of Tuesday through Friday and join your friends at Mama's for lunch. Dinner only on Saturday. Mama's features charbroiled steaks every day. Make reservations for dinner or pick up a bottle of fine wine. Seating is limited, so please call for reservations. 541-451-5050. That's 451-5050. Mama's Fine Italian and Wine Shop on West Oak between Main and 2nd in Lebanon, across from the big blue Napa Auto Parts building.
It's autumn once again, and the leaves aren't the only things that have been falling. Hey folks, Jay Farner here, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates are among the lowest that we've seen since the Cadillac Coupe de Ville first rolled off the line right here in Detroit City back in 1949. Yep, that's right. You can get a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage for 3.5%, APR 3.81%, but you've got to call Quicken Loans right now. Call 800-QUICKEN, that's 800-QUICKEN, or go to QuickenLoans.com. Right now, that super low rate is just 3.5%, APR 3.81% for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. Our Quicken Loans mortgage experts put client service first. That's why we've got an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. So call Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN, that's 800-QUICKEN, or visit us at QuickenLoans.com and find out for yourself why we're engineered to amaze.
Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Now's your chance to get in on all the hair-raising, action-packed princess fun. Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream. Watch as Rapunzel lets down her golden hair to tangle with the dashing Flynn Rider and the hilarious Maximus. Go on a mystical adventure through the bayous of Louisiana as Tiana kisses the frog prince Naveen and gets royally jazzed. And become enchanted with Cinderella as she makes her dreams come true. Together for the first time ever, all the Disney princesses you love in a spectacular ice show. Bring your royal family to the ultimate princess event of a lifetime in your hometown. Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream.
The magic begins at $17 per ticket. Additional fees may apply. See roseporter.com for details. Experience a spectacular Disney adventure at Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream. Coming to the Rose Garden October 25th through 28th.
From PCs to the Internet, Kim Commando has the answers. Saturday mornings on News Talk 1580 KGAL.
This is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Carol Dinges, Library Services Manager for the Lebanon Library, is our guest today on this section of Valley Talk. If you haven't signed up yet for a Quiznos Taste on Us, get those entries in. Send it to dave@kgal.com. Put Quiznos Taste on Us on the subject line, and we'll pull a winner out of the hat at the end of the show. Carol, there's a lot of library after-hours programs we want to talk about before the show gets away from us here. What else do you have there at the library?
Well, tonight we are going to feature students from Western University of Health Sciences, Comp Northwest. And tonight will be the first of 6 programs they're going to do about healthy living and healthy nutrition. I'm really happy to have the partnership with them. This is an opportunity for us to have some great programs on how to live well and how to eat well this year. But also, they were very excited to take part also because it gives them an opportunity to do outreach into the community, which is an important part of their education. Not only are they learning science, but they also were very insistent that they need to learn how to take that science that they know and be able to speak to regular people like us about it, because that's what they will do as physicians. They will have to be able to talk to their patients and make things clear to them as well.
Do you have a lot of interface with Comp Northwest? I know they have a large campus over there, and it's growing at Lebanon.
Well, their students sometimes come over and use the library as a quiet place to study. Also, the university has offers all of their students free library cards if they live outside the city limits. And we've had a number of students and their families come in. Many of our students, we think of them as being very young. They're not necessarily young, and many of them do have families, and their families have come over to get library cards and use our services also.
We have about 4 minutes left in the show. Is there anything else we need to really make sure we get mentioned?
Yes, I'd like to tell you about some of our special programs coming up. First off, our new program for the very smallest of our patrons, Baby and Me Story Time, is a new story time for infants, for newborns, up to about 24 months, to about 2 years old. And that's Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock. And then our regular preschool story time is for kids who are a little bit older than that, is Thursday at 11 o'clock. And that includes not only stories and songs and so forth, but also crafts as well. But our library after hours has a lot of things coming up. Tonight will be an introduction to nutrition for healthy living. Next week, going along with the October theme of information literacy, I'm going to be introducing the Learning Express Library, which is a fantastic resource that's available to everyone in the state of Oregon through a grant, a federal grant provided through the state library. This has it has information for all ages. Self-help tutorials for both elementary, in, say, reading or math. It has college prep, test-taking skills for high school kids and older, things like SAT prep, PSAT prep. It also has materials for adults. It has tutorials on using a lot of popular software. If you want to learn how to use an Excel spreadsheet, there is a tutorial for that. It also has career training modules as well. If you're preparing for, say, the firefighter or EMS tests, or law enforcement, nursing, it has tutorials and practice tests that you can take for those. It's a huge resource, and it's available. You don't have to have a library card. It's available to everyone in the state of Oregon, and that's what I'm going to be going over next Monday night on October 8th.
Anything else? We've got about a minute and 10 seconds.
Okay, very quickly. October 22nd, 2nd Street Guitars will be performing for our Monday after hours at 7 o'clock. And they'll be doing all kinds of music. That will be an entertainment evening. We hope you come. And then on October 29th, we will have Classic Movie Monday, 50s sci-fi, and this ought to be fun. I understand that the theme of that one is going to be the movie Them from the 50s. And on October 26th, we're going to have Ann Rutherford, a storyteller, for a family storytelling night, and that will be on a Friday night at 7 p.m. Ann Rutherford will be great.
Carol Dinges, Library Services Manager for the Lebanon Library. Thank you for being with us on Valley Talk today. A few seconds left in the show. We do want to remind you, coming up tomorrow, we have our financial services guy, John Gibson. Also, Albany Hobby Flyers. If you've always wanted to fly an airplane but couldn't quite afford to buy your own plane, you might want to tune in tomorrow and find out what that's all about. Valley Talk, I'm Dave Adams. Make it a great day.
Your first choice in local news, sports, and smart talk. This is News Talk 1580 KGAL, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis.
CBS News, I'm Harley Carnes. There's been another hack attack on the White House without